Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Our pollen is silver and our nectar is gold, preserving our wealth as honey of old, and like ancient metals, we hold our own. And today we're going to be having Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker join us here in just a bit. So stay tuned. I'm going to run through these guidelines right quick. You are responsible for your bids and follow up through email to purchase in this auction. Email me long-lived coins. With any wins you make throughout the night, please include what you won and at what price, along with your YouTube name and address you would like it shipped to. I will send an invoice through Clover, which has many forms of payment. If none of the payment methods in the invoice work well, I also have Zelle and Cash App. All payment methods are free of charge except for PayPal. If you're using PayPal, please add 4% to your total. Shipping is $7 in the USA and paid in the first invoice, which opens you a wallet to hold your product purchased until you are ready to ship, or purchases become too large for one package. Top bidder with highest total value per auction or purchasing Osmium earns a worker bee cell. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I've got some new ideas here we're going to go through. But yeah, you can earn a cell by purchasing osmium during an auction from me, or if you have the overall highest total value, you earn a worker bee cell. And if you have a one cell, you get a 1% discount on any future osmium you buy. And also during the auction, if you have a cell, you get that 1%. If you have one cell, you get 1% discount on osmium, and or during the auction, $1 cushion for the auction. So I'll explain a little bit more in detail, but that goes all the way through. So if you have two cells, you get 2% discount on purchasing osmium, or during the auction, you would get a $2 cushion in your bid. So, and we have up to a total of 6 cells or 6 different levels that you can be at. So the max discount you can ever achieve would be 6% or $6 during the auction. And again, I will go through that in a little more detail coming up. And we will bid in $1 increments up to 100, and then $5 increments over 100. My guests are always welcome to bid, as well as moderators, and my guests will also get free shipping for helping me out with the stream. No insurance bids, and we will run a 3-minute timer and then count it down 3, 2, 1 sold. So I don't start my countdown over again every time somebody bids. It's just a straightforward countdown. And ancient coins sold here come with a lifetime money-back guarantee to be genuine. And there's a 4-month payment plan available with 1 payment a month, and then I will ship when I receive the total. So if you're interested in that, just send me an email and we will go through the details of the payment plan. Also, to bring up any of the chat commands, you can type exclamation point commands or exclamation point email, and it should bring up that information. So with that, let me bring up Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker. Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker, welcome into the Beehive. How are we doing today?
Hey, we're doing good.
Howdy, y'all.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to have you. Thanks for coming on tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, we're so honored. Thank you for
Thank
having us.
you.
Cool. I'm going to say a shout out to the people in the chat. It looks like we got Triple A the Great and Space Mina. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for being here. And Silverboy Blues, good to see you. Hey,
Thanks,
Silverboy Blues, if you don't mind, if you get some extra time in the next few days or evenings or whatever, shoot me an email or give me a call. I would love to chat with you on a few things. And with that, before we get into it, I just came up with a new kind of idea, and I barely covered it there in the beginning, but I want to talk about it here a little bit and get anybody's input on ideas for it. But to make things a bit more interesting and fun, I have, instead of doing the freebie of 1 free silver gram for being the top bidder of the night, I'm gonna do where I give you a cell, a worker bee cell, and a cell is just the cells that bees fill in their pollen nectar and becomes a honeycomb. And so if you earn 1 cell, it's like earning a 1% discount when you're for the purchase of osmium. So if you have 3 cells, you get a 3% discount to purchase osmium, and you can go all the way up to 6%. And then that also transfers over. If you have 3 cells, you can, if you make a bid, say I'm selling a 1 ounce round for $50, and you have 3 cells to your name, and you put in a bid of $50, that automatically gives you a cushion of $3. So someone would have to bid $54 to take you out. So that's my new little idea. And let me see if I can bring up those people who are already have a discount with me for their purchases of osmium. Let me see here if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the top bidder with the highest total value per auction or purchasing of osmium in an auction earns you a worker bee cell. No more than 1 cell per auction can be earned. Max discount is the honeycomb at 6% listed below. So right below that here we have these descriptions. 1 cell equals 1% discount on the purchase of osmium and or a $1 cushion during the auction. And 2 cells gets you 2% or $2 cushion. 3 cells is 3% or a $3 cushion. Drone comb is 4%, and a worker comb is 5%, and a honeycomb is the highest you can get at 6%. So those gives you a little bit of incentive and something to hopefully make things a little bit more fun. And the people who have already worked their way up the discount ladder a little bit is we have Silverboy Blues has 3 cells, Nickel Stacker has 3 cells, and Space Miner has 3 cells. And so the next, if you guys were to earn another cell, you would be at 4%, which is the drone comb. And these are actual apiary terminologies here. So the cell is a hexagonal compartment of a comb built by honeybees, and so on and so forth. The rest of them. There's a drone comb. Comb measures about 4 cells per linear inch, and what's my other one? A worker comb is 5 per inch, 5 cells per inch, and then the honeycomb is 6. So that is the new idea. And with that, let's get into our auction. So sorry about all the intricacies, but I wanted to go through that. So, Mr. and Miss West Texas Stacker. So, yeah, it looks like your channel has really been doing well over there. Tell us, how's that been going for you?
Well, it's picked up a little bit. most of it's from the cooking live streams that we do.
Yeah, I really enjoy those cooking live streams. That's cool.
I know
We've had a lot of people we've had a lot of people kind of help us out, shout us out, and tell people to subscribe. So that's been awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Everybody's very supportive. So we really love this community.
Yeah. This has been an interesting community for me to enter into as well. There's a lot of good people in other communities, but the stacker community as a whole really seems to be very supportive, and I think a lot of us feel like we're fighting an uphill battle somewhat or something, and so that it's positive to help support other people. At least that's kind of the way I'm
Definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely it. I mean,
just like what we were telling you earlier about what Space Miner did for him, that was very, very very dear to our heart. That was very special.
Yeah, that was amazing. Do you mind telling that publicly, or?
No, I don't mind at all. So early on in our stacking journey, we were still fairly new at it. We were just 1 or 2 ounces every other payday.
Right, sure.
And I got the bright idea to start donating plasma for money. I figured I'm doing a good thing. I'm getting a little bit of money to put into silver and some gold, right? We got a little bit of gold with it too.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, this guy named Space Miner shows up and he says, "I'll send you 3 of my silver channel rounds if you stop donating plasma."
Wow.
And I was like, I can do that. And it just so happens that the last time I went, that they said that I had a high liver enzyme count.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was feeling it. I was feeling it in my side, and
he got a permanent scar.
I got permanent scars on my arm from it.
It was not doing him very well.
I made some doctor's appointments, went to the doctors, and the doctor told me that I had some kind of damage done to my liver.
Wow.
And I quit going, and I don't have the problem now, I guess the liver can heal itself.
Yeah, right.
But I think Space Miner, if it hadn't been for him, who knows what kind of damage I was doing to myself.
Because he wouldn't listen to me. So I'm glad someone else, had him stop. So we're very grateful, Space Miner. Thank you so much. God bless you for doing that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing the timing like that. That's something, for one thing, it's very, very generous from someone who you probably didn't know very closely, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the timing to line up like that, that's kind of,
yeah, definitely a blessing.
Call that divine intervention or what, but that's pretty amazing. So
definitely.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Indeed. Good job, Space Miner.
Yes.
Okay, so up first, before we get into the metals, I'm going to offer up these coin easels. And I use them, as you can see, all over the place here. And they hold 1 coin. These smaller ones, the larger ones, hold 2 coins. So, but I'm going to just throw in the smaller coin price in the auction, and we'll probably just run the smaller easels tonight. If anyone wants a larger 2 coin easel, just throw it in the chat and I will offer those up. But to save time, we're going to just put up the one coin easel, and if anybody wants any of those, just holler and we'll get it for you. I got several different kinds, colors. They're exotic hardwoods. I don't put any finishes on them, so the color that you see is the natural color of that wood. So I find them very handy.
Those are hand carved?
Well, they're not hand carved. They're, cut on a saw stop.
Okay,
Which is a very cool table saw. For if anybody doesn't know, those saw stops are supposed to. It has a retractable blade, so if like your finger touches the blade while it's in motion, instead of cutting your finger off, it has electricity running through the blade, and if it makes contact like with flesh, it will brake grabs it and it sucks down into the table, and it's supposed to save you from cutting your hand off. So that's what I use to cut those with.
Nice.
But I do enjoy working with hand tools. Like this was made all by hand tools. I use a hand saw to cut the boards, and a hand saw to do the dovetails, and a wood plane to smooth up the wood. No sandpaper was used. So I do really enjoy working with hand tools when I have the time and whatnot. But let me see if I can get this entered in. Get my timer down here. And Silver and Cigars, good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. So we're putting these in at $7. And we will flip my little timer here. This is a 3-minute timer. So you got about 3 minutes to decide if you would like a coin easel, and we will move on to our next product. Elle, welcome into the Beehive. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Joseph Lopez, you as well. So let's see. So I got some basic questions I try to ask most people that come in here. And if you guys have any good questions that I don't ask you, or you have any questions, that I can ask future guests or that you would like to talk about, definitely just don't hesitate and blurt it out there. And anybody in the chat, throw your questions that you would like to have asked into the chat as well. So one of the first questions I ask my guest is, what state are you from? But I have a feeling Mr. and Mrs. West Texas are probably from Texas. So I guess we don't need to go too. Do you mind giving a rough, is it on the west side, I'm guessing? Or
Yes, we live on the west side. You know how that little like corner that it comes down, there's that little corner, and then it's like New Mexico, it like straightens out.
Okay.
We're like at that little corner. Midland, Odessa area.
Oh, right on.
We live in an oil patch.
Okay, cool. I spent a little time in my grandparents lived in Texas. Very hot and humid for me.
It's just hot here.
Yeah.
It barely gets humid. We're in the desert.
Oh.
The country, Texas. Definitely the country, hopefully one day.
So, the big question, though, is how did you get into stacking?
Well, I think we were telling you earlier, and I love telling this story. Like in about 2018, I think, I had a friend that was telling me, y'all need to start buying gold and silver. She's like, y'all just need to make sure y'all, have it. And I came to Mr. West Texas, and I, told him, hey, we need to start buying gold and silver. And he looked at me like I was insane, and he goes, stop buying gold and silver.
Right.
And he walked away, and that was the end of it.
Sure.
Okay, tell him what got you into it after that. That coin you found in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. He had bought a bag of just oddball coins at a yard sale, and I was digging through them, and I came across just a V nickel.
Oh, cool.
And and that kind of piqued my interest up a little bit, and I, like everybody else, I went to YouTube, and what I first started watching Patriotic Stacker and Silver Dragons,
Cool.
and that kind of got the ball rolling, you know.
Like mad for telling
And
you.
I had a coworker that was telling me about it. So yeah, I still have my first ounce here somewhere, and there's a buffalo round.
Yeah.
Cool. So about roughly when was that, if you don't mind? You definitely don't ever answer any questions that you don't want to, obviously. But
2023.
Yeah, it was early 2023.
okay, cool.
Yep.
I see. So a silver round. Well, that's a good first buy. I mean, that's probably what I would recommend for a first buy. Depending on maybe the character of the person's. Like sometimes, someone might want a coin because it's more affirmed by a sovereign country or something to that effect, but once you get past those little questions like that, I mean, it's really the bang for your buck, right? Like,
Oh, definitely.
It's helped us, build a savings.
The first eagle I actually bought, I bought it from Harry's Coin Shop. I called it in from here, and I had it sent to my dad in Oregon for Father's Day. But I think at the time it was $42 for that one eagle, and
high is probably during the high premium zone there, I suppose.
yeah, that was good. They had really high premiums then.
Yeah,
almost at one point it was almost 100% on the Eagles there, and on junk silver there for just a short period.
So I did that, and then I went to the coin shop here, the Vault, and the owner, he just flat out told me, he says, I'll tell you when you can start buying eagles again.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's our local coin shop owner. He's became like family to us, and that's helped a lot. He would never steer us wrong.
It's great to have a good local coin guy, definitely, especially when you're first starting out, right? Help steer you down the right track a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Comfort you a little bit on your questions. So these are exotic wood coin pingers. So I'm going to throw those into the auction up here next. I'm sure most of you know how the coin pinger works. You just take it. I spread the jaws open a little bit with my fingers and put my silver eagle in there. Of course, you don't want to do it with a brand new unscuffed coin, but if you're just trying to figure out if it's real silver or not, you can pop it in this easel. You can also just hold it on your finger and hit it, but this holds it in place so you don't lose it. You can take another coin and give it a little whack, or it comes with a little wood stick that hits it as well. And it's a great way to, it's actually quite accurate and it'll tell you if you have a real coin or not. And you can get if you have, most everybody obviously has a cell phone nowadays, and you can get a coin pinger app. I believe they're free, and you can actually tell the difference between a type 1 eagle and a type 2 eagle, even though it's the same dimensions, weight, everything's the same, except the stamp of the picture is a little bit different, and that actually is enough difference that the app can tell the difference between a type 1 silver eagle and a type 2 silver eagle. So it's actually very accurate. And these are just they make plastic ones, and this is of course just more of a a fun, I don't know if you'd say gimmick or not, but a fun way to ping your silver. So let me see. Let me throw that
That's
in.
actually pretty cool. You got your own little spin on that pop pinger.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right?
I don't know how much they go for. I think they're over 20.
Yeah, they're like 30, and that's about what I charge for mine. I think mine are a little bit cooler, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they are.
you know, it's whatever your taste is. It's just for fun. So I'm gonna throw those in, and then we'll get into the good stuff, the silver and the platinum and the gold and the metals. The metals are what we're interested in here, but I like to throw some other odds and ends out while we get warmed up here. So let's see. So yeah, so you've been stacking for a few years now. Well, it's good you got in before this last little clip up, huh? It's been a pretty good move this last couple months, huh?
Yeah, it's been a little crazy. And as everybody or most of you may know, I was working a second job and putting a lot of metals in the stack that way. And that kind of eventually fell through. I'm almost 50 years old, and I was those 16-hour days were wearing on me.
Woo,
But
yeah.
Definitely.
it, right as soon as that was going down, metals started shooting up, and I was like, well, I would have really been working a lot of hours to buy less.
Yeah,
Is what it would have worked out to.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really it was exhausting.
But it's like I was saying, it's the stacker's catch 22. It's a conundrum.
Yeah.
We love to see the price of silver go high, but on the same note, we like it to stay relatively affordable.
Well, it's like you were saying earlier, like we want it to go back low so we can buy as much as possible,
Yeah.
get as much as we can, and then have enough when it goes up again to, I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's the big stacker dilemma, and yeah, when the key is to have a mind of when it does get hit down like it just did these past few days, to buy when the market's red, when things dip. That's it's a good time to get in and get some stuff. I think a lot of people right now would probably say it's controversial at this price level because we're kind of at nominal all-time highs for silver and gold, definitely for gold. But and I will let you guys know I would be probably considered on the pumper side of the YouTube. I'm very, very bullish and positive. For me, I'm quite sure. I've been, saying that this is going to happen for quite some time, and I'm one of those triple-digit silver people. And no, I don't want it to go there, and I don't want the world to be what it's going to be like when we get there. But on the other side of that coin, just because you don't want that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And from what I'm looking into the system and looking at, I'm quite positive that is going to happen. In fact, that's why I got into stacking at all. It wasn't because I enjoy the shiny, beautiful designs like I now do. Now I'm actually quite enthralled with the metals themselves. But when I first started out, yeah, there you go. Nice. When I first started out, it had nothing to do with shiny metal or stacking in that matter. It was simply just looking at the monetary system and the lies that were being told, and from what I dug in, I thought, boy, this is gonna turn bad. And for the first few years, I started in 2000, late 2017, early 18. And I was a little more skeptical about, my thoughts on things. But ever since then, I've been, digging in deeper to the questions and how the system works, and I just grow more and more sure that I think I'm right, and I think that every fiat currency throughout time has ended up at zero, and it's usually about 50 to 80 years is the lifespan of a normal fiat currency. And we are we're pushing towards, oh man, now I need to get the exact time, but we're pushing towards the latter end of that. And now we've never had a world reserve fiat currency in the way that we have, so I think that also brings a lot of questions to the table. But I really feel from looking at things that's we're at the end of the cycle, and it's no longer a level playing field, and that we are going to continually, that curve is going to get exponential as they do at the end of their life cycle. All of the fiat currencies kind of hit an exponential point, and I think we're getting there. So I'm one of those triple digit guys where I'm not going to really flinch about selling until we're well into the triple digits. This is definitely not advice; those are just my thoughts. But
I agree with you on that. I think it's going to go there too, definitely.
Wow, yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, it's sad, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news in a sense, but another way to look at that is it's good to have it as an insurance that it's not gonna go to zero, like for thousands of years it's never lost its value completely. So there's a lot worse things. Like for me, I was never good with money. Like I just went paycheck to paycheck, and I had a lot of debt, and I didn't even really think about it. I didn't care about it. I don't really care very much about money. But once I started stacking and figured out that, wow, I can put my value into something that instead of losing value over time, it starts to gain value over time. That really changed my whole mindset about things. And so you really gave me a more sure, stable foundation where you can sleep a little bit better at night. And I think that's what got me into it in the first place, was kind of worrying about my family and wanting to be able to sleep better at night. And I find the metals do that for me. So
yeah, that's definitely us.
Cool. Okay.
Well, the awesome thing about it is now, because we're kind of in the same situation, couldn't save, couldn't
Paycheck to paycheck.
couldn't really figure out any way to get ahead, and
with money.
And now we're comfortable with. At least we know that if something happens, we have this to back us up.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not the only thing we have. We dabble in a XRP and a couple smaller cryptos, but
cool.
We actually woke up a little bit to our ways, and now we feel like we have some sort of stability.
Yeah.
And as far as the silver going up, I mean, I would love to see $25 silver again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us would, but I always figured it would go up. I just didn't expect it to happen this early. I didn't this soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's I would agree with that statement. My only hesitation about that is that I'm kind of surprised to see a lot of people aren't seeing it as I see it, and that's a very arrogant thing to say, I suppose. But I worry that if it does drop pretty hard, that people will think, "Oh, I'm so done with." They get such a bad attitude about it. I'm done with silver. I hate silver. Never going up. And so I would love to see it go back to 25. The only thing that I wouldn't like to see about that is if it scares people out of stacking. But otherwise, I would agree. I would rather see it there because I would definitely increase my stack. It wouldn't scare me out of it.
No, definitely. Yeah, that's a good point. Especially with people buying, at all-time highs.
Right.
Oh, and if it dropped down to 25, I'm sure it would leave a bitterness in their mouth for it.
It might. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. But yeah, I definitely would like to stack more for sure. I think that's kind of the bad, if there is not that it's bad, but it's hard to get enough in your stack to where you say, okay, I don't need any more, because it's like, well, if my kid has a broken arm or this, that, and the other, you just start looking at it as like, an insurance and a savings and a way to get through problems without having it throw a huge strain on you. And so, okay, so I am in the transition stage of being pure metals. So I want to sell only pure metals from here. And I'm pretty much all out of my 90% and my Morgan dollars and everything like that. I literally have like a few pieces here that I'm gonna put up now. I have two. These came to me from APMEX. You can still tell it's got the APMEX container. And they're in their lollipop wrappers inside the APMEX bag. But these are 80% Canadian dollars. And it was they sent me the wrong coins, but I didn't send them back. I just kept them. And so it's the young Queen Elizabeth on there. And these are 80% silver. I have these that I'm going to put up for sale. I have this 1888 MS64 PCGS beautiful Morgan with a bit of toning. I'm going to put that up here in a second. And the only other thing I have that this is hard for me to get rid of, but it's 90% and I'm moving to pure metal. So this is a 1979 Casa de Monada de Mexico Plata Pura 1 ounce silver coin. It's actually 90%, but there is a full ounce of silver here. It's just a little bit heavier than 1 ounce. So I'm going to put these up that are not pure silver. So I want to be quite clear about that. So the first thing I'm offering up here of the night silver wise is two 80% Canadian silver dollars. They're not, like I say, they're in good condition. They're even in their original lollipop plastic baggie inside the APMEX bag. So they're nice as far as that goes, but they're 80% silver. So let me get those dropped in. And I'm putting them at $40 a piece, which is a pretty good deal. And we will get those up and going.
I don't think we have anything with it.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything against 80% or 90% at all, or Morgan dollars or anything. That's all fine and dandy. I just decided that I'm gonna move into the pure metals area, and for any of the new, I think that there's going to be a lot of new people start to move into the market once we broke 50, which we've done. I think once we turn around and pop back over 50 and people realize, oh, this wasn't just a one-time little spoof, I think it'll start to bring more people in. And I wanna go to pure metals just to keep some of the confusion out of buying metals for people. And that's why I'm moving over. So that's why you're getting such a great deal on this 80% Canadian dollars. So there they are. I'll get the clock going on those. And before I highlight the Canadian dollars, AAA the Great had a question, and he said, "What is your favorite silver round?" What's you guys' favorite silver round?
Oh,
What's
I think there's so many.
yours? And pretty much anything by the Intaglio.
Yeah, pretty much anything by Intaglio. I love all their stuff.
I can't argue with that, no doubt.
Yeah, it's awesome.
My favorite silver round, the buffaloes. The silver buffalo rounds are my absolute favorite.
Cool. Yeah, nice. I believe it's Silver and Cigars. I don't know if he's here anymore. He was in here earlier. He's got quite a collection of buffaloes. I think he's kind of trying to collect all the different examples.
Every single mint. He's going for every single different mint of buffaloes that they've made, which is, I mean, he's gotten quite far with it, along with his goal right there.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, I got it.
Do you have that little tiny?
Yeah.
You know what's that?
Mhm.
You bring it.
So,
that Mexican coin there, the mill and balance, balance. That's a beauty.
It is. This is the hardest fact. I had this as part of my display, and I'm like, oh man, that's 90%. I'm not supposed to have that up on my display. And I'm like, this is hard for me to. I'm gonna offer this up, and this is one of my favorite designs because this is an actual coin press.
Yeah,
is what that is. So I think it is a beautiful coin. So yeah, it's one of my favorite. And then it has the balances on the back. It's beautiful. So I have this one, and I have a 1980 somewhere in my treasure box right there. So I might keep the 80 because that's my birth year. So, but I do like that. Onza.
Yeah. Now that's one thing. The last Saturday we were at the coin shop, and he was sold out of all the onzas and libertads and all the Mexican silver and gold were gone. Well, he still had that Centenario, but that was it.
Wow, cool. Oh, let me highlight that. So yeah, what about let's just move to the coin. What would be one of your favorite coins that would you think of offhand?
Oh boy. Favorite coin. I like the older Libertads.
Yeah.
And as far as silver, I'm a pretty big fan of the Indian head gold coins.
Oh yeah. Oh, did the Incuse?
Yeah, the Incuse.
Those are some of my favorites as well. I really like the Incuse Indian. That's one of the better ones for me as well. The press.
So I was working on a little, challenging myself. I was going to get Mrs. Every denomination of the Mexican gold, and I made it to the 5 peso, and then I was waiting for a 10 peso to show up, or guess it, and the price of gold just went up too high. So
yeah.
But that was the plan with that. I was going to have her give her each denomination all the way up to the 50 peso.
Oh, that's a good idea. That would have been fun. That's cool. All right, let's go ahead and just throw that baby up there. 1979 Casa de Moneda de Mexico. Does anybody speak Spanish well enough to tell me what that means? Casa. I know Casa is like, it's like your home or like a building, right? Like your castle or not. And then D Moneta. I don't know what D Moneta means. Somebody help me out in the chat. Okay, so yeah.
That's the name of the bank. That's the name of the bank that minted these.
Okay, awesome. Well, there you go. Somebody's smart enough to know what they're doing. That's cool. All right.
Looking at a 1978 right now that I had handy. And it's actually, the weight on it is 33.625 grams. And it's 925 silver.
Is that the same coin? Oh, there is a 78. That's right. I was going to say, I think 79 is the first year, but there is a 78. Is the same. Okay, I think
that's the 78 right there.
And I think that's the first year that they made these, right? Is that right? Or do you know?
I'm sure about that. I'd have to look that up.
And actually, I think there's one that is the stamp design is the same. I don't think it weighs quite as much, but it was an actual coin, and I think it was like minted like 40 years before they did these ones. I think the 78 is the first one after they did their. I think they had one that was like 1948. They did some of these, and they weren't quite as big of a coin. And then they didn't do anything until 78, like the one you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did another little run of them, and then that was it. Okay, Silverboy Blues comes in with the info. He says, oh, he has a 49. There you go. Yeah, 49, 79, 80, but no 78. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that you got a 78 there, West.
Sweetie, what's your favorite coin?
Are you talking? Oh,
yeah, I'm asking her the same question. What her favorite coin is?
That's my. You said anything in Taglio? I don't really.
No, that's round. We're talking about coins.
Oh. Coin? Oh, I don't know.
Your widow's mite.
The widow's mite, yeah. Widow's mite, yeah.
That's that ancient coin. That's I love the ancient widow's mite. That is a very cool coin. I was more meaning modern coin, but I myself collect ancient, so I'm actually quite happy to hear you mention the widow's mite. So you have an ancient coin as well, huh? That's
yes, cool. Yes, I love it. That's really neat.
That's cool.
We have one here that it might not show up on camera, but it's probably the smallest gold coin I've ever seen. And it's this 1336. I don't know if that's the year, 1646. India. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's in there somewhere.
Oh, on the left there, but tiny little thing in the left corner there.
Yeah.
Aww.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen something like that before.
And it has some kind of and I need a magnifying glass for that, but it does have some detailed markings on it.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry about my fingernails. I do mechanic work on semi-trucks, so there's always dirt and grease under them.
Yep, sure. No worries. I used to be a mechanic in high school, so I know the drill. All right, we're going to put this piece up. What did I say? Oh, this is a great deal on this coin, personally, I think. But I am looking to get out of the on non-pure metals, so I'm gonna quit complaining and just put it up. So are these? Does it say on there? I thought these were 90%. Are they 92? Are they sterling or are they 90?
I believe they're sterling, and they're stamped 925 on them.
Oh, yep, you're right. Right there, 925. Okay, yep, okay. So.
But with the extra grams of weight, they equal to 1 ounce of silver. The silver weight is actually 1 ounce.
Yeah, yep, okay, yep, I think you're right there. I did know that. Okay, so we got that up at 65. Plata Pura. And it is sterling silver indeed. 92.5 is 1979. Kansas Kid, good to see you. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Good seeing you here. We've got this beautiful Plata Pura 925 coin up. I'm moving into the pure metals only, so I'm working my way out of all the 90%, and I am about out. But this coin I used in my display because it's one of my favorite designs. But if I'm going to go be in pure metals, I can't leave it in my display, so I got to move it on. So I think it's a pretty good price on it.
What I got ours for? I think back in the day, I think I got them for $28.
Mexican gold and silver is so pretty.
Yeah.
Mexico coins, do give you all the info right on the coin like that, which, yeah, that is nice, isn't it? Okay, get the time going there on it.
Now, the only thing that's a little confusing on the Mexican gold coins is the restrikes.
Yeah, although they're all 1948, or what's the date that they're all the same date, even though they're restruck like later?
Yeah, I think there's several different dates. I think 1945 and 1948. Yeah, I get kind of confused on those.
That reminds me. That's another piece of. I have a little 2 peso, a gold 2 peso. I suppose I should move that along as well. Those are fun little coins, 2 pesos, but not pure metal.
It looks like Silver Boy Blues would like to see the reverse on that.
You got it.
Yours is in a lot better shape than the one I have. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's still got a little cartwheel going, cartwheel luster. It's not by any means perfect, but yeah, it is pretty nice, I must admit. As I'm not getting rid of it because I didn't like it, that's for sure. I had it on my display, like it's one of my favorite pieces, but I gotta be true to what I'm doing, so onward she goes for anybody interested. Otherwise, she'll end up at the LCS most likely. I only have one other Morgan that's going to be coming up after this coin, and it is a MS64, I believe I said. Oh, I can't find it. Wow. What did I do with it? Oh, here. No, that's not it. What did I do with it? I just had it. Couldn't win far. Oh, here it is. This is the only Morgan I got there, Nickel. It's a MS-64. So I'll put that up here in a minute. Okay, time is winding down there. We got Silver Boy Blues at 65. It is a very nice piece indeed. And so, okay, so here's an example of Silver Boy Blues has 3 cells. So in order for anybody to outbid Silver Boy Blues, according to my new idea here, let me know what you guys think of this, but that gives him, since he has 3 cells, that would be 3% on an Osmium purchase or $3 in the bidding department. So that would put him at 66, 67, 68. So someone would have to bid 69 to knock him off of that bid. What does anybody think about that as an idea? Is that too mean, or is that a good incentive, or what's anybody think about that idea? As I count it down to Silver Boy Blues at 65. Silver Boy Blues at 65 in 2 and 1. And we are SOLD to SBB. And we are sold the Silver Boy Blues. That's a beautiful pickup. I think that's a great price on this coin. I think you did well. And it's such a beautiful design. I love that press. Like, that's just too cool. A coin press on a coin. Very nice. Rewarding frequent buyers. Indeed, that's the idea. AAA gives people some incentive, makes them feel good, and doesn't stop other people from getting in as well and earning themselves their own discount. So anyway, I think I'm gonna go for it for a while, unless I hear some negative feedback enough to make me think twice. Like me in blues in 3D. No. Okay, so that went to Silver Boy Blues. Thank you very much, Silver Boy.
Yeah, real nice. That's a real nice piece of silver right there.
That is. It is indeed. Auction 46. Thank you very much. And last but not least, for the 90% silver, this is the last piece of non-pure metal for the night. And it is a beautiful Morgan. There's not look at that. Look at those cheeks. There's not much for chitter chatter on the cheek. At the very bottom there is, but you got that whole left front side cheek up on the higher side that is just powdery clean. I don't see any chatter on it, so I thought that was kind of cool. Of course, we got a full Liberty. It's an MS-64, and it's 888, the greats year, 1888. I don't know how you can get around that 888. Got a little bit of toning around the outside. I actually quite like the toning on the reverse. Got some pretty blue, purple, orange going. Got nice chest feathers there, nice breast feathers. So I think it's a pretty cool piece. And I believe it must be a Philadelphia. There's no marking, so I think that means Philadelphia. Although I'm no expert on Morgans, anybody can chime in and let me know if I'm wrong. But let me put that in 1888. Morgan. 65 or 64. Right, 64. at $150. Go. $150 on the 1888 PCGS MS64. You get a little bit better view here. There we go. All right. So while that's running down, let's see here. What else do we got for questions for Mr. and Mrs.? Okay, here's one. So, what metal do you have the most conviction on? As in, what are you most focused on, or what are you most confident in, or what do you think has the most upside? Kind of which metal are you thinking about most, or what? Tell me about the metals and which ones you look at and what you think about them.
Really, it's just silver. I mean, we do have not a whole lot of gold, but we have some gold. It's silver. That's not really.
I tend to like the higher premium stuff, like intaglio and
Germanium mint.
Germanium mint, like that.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, no doubt, right? No, I think that's right down my alley as well. I mean, I'm silver all day long here, and now I think that might have a little bit to do with I'm not very wealthy, and I suppose if I had a lot of money to put into the metals, I always kind of say gold is kind of that safety measure. But me being on the bottom, I think silver definitely has the most upside, and it's the most asymmetric. It's so undervalued, and it's going to move more, I think, percentage wise. It's already this year been outperforming gold pretty steady all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Silver all the way. Good call.
Gold did take a pretty good dive today.
Yeah, my goodness. Southeast stacking and collecting. Welcome into the Beehive. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're well.
I have a question for you or the chat. These are two bars that I have that I really don't know much about. And I got them at pretty good deals. One is this Spokane.
Wow, that's
bullion ink bar.
I have not seen that. That's a new one for me. I actually quite like that. Oh, and it's a 1.7. Oh, 4.75.
4.75. Yeah, so it's an oddball.
That's awesome. I actually quite like that bar. I couldn't tell you anything about it though. That's cool.
I picked it up for, oh man, I don't know.
Let me put in my. Did I not put that in yet?
Do you know how much I paid for that?
I
think I only paid like $115 for it or something like that.
That's a very cool looking bar, and I think it's who is it that was asking for those? What is his name? I can't think of what. There's a stacker out there that collects oddball weights like that. And he was just asking for if I had any oddball bars like that, and that I think he would really like that bar. That was pretty cool. Can't think of all. Oh, Emerald Coast Stacker. He collects off numbers like that, so he might really be after something like that. What was your other bar?
The other bar, and I've asked before. I just not too many people know about it. This Kilo Silvertown.
Look at that. That's a nice vintage piece right there.
Now, I bought some 5-ounce Silvertowns that look similar to this, but they were stamped FFS, and they didn't have the the whole fine silver spelled out. And that's when I had figured out that those were the ones stamped FS are the retro bars. So they're not really vintage yet.
Oh, okay.
But this one spells it all out, you know, and allenglehart.com can't really see anything on it there. So I guess the only other thing would be is to email them, send them an email and ask them, but I haven't got around to that. So if anybody knows.
Yeah, I don't, but like Triple Eight says, TheBee might be a good place to ask that kind of you know, if he could see it, I'm sure he could tell you what it is. He's pretty knowledgeable on that stuff.
I believe I have showed it to TheBee, and he was kind of I think he's the one that suggested emailing All Englehart.
Oh wow, okay, cool. Yeah, if he doesn't know, I can assure you I don't know. that guy's so knowledgeable on silver and gold and numismatics, I should say. I have a feeling that he is somehow connected to the grading companies in some way or something, or was at one point or something.
Yeah, we all have our speculations on TheBee. I actually like to believe that he's a famous rock star from a punk rock band in the 70s and 80s. That's what I think, anyways.
Right. Punk rock star that happens to be numismatist and grades coins as well on his side time.
I know you probably heard it earlier this year. Rick Springfield, his coin collection was up for auction.
Okay, no.
Jesse's girl.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of another thing that you know, I know TheBee has gotten into the silver game back before Englehart and Johnson Matthey were considered vintage. So the premiums on vintage silver, I mean, how much longer before this RMC bar is considered vintage? You know,
I don't know. Probably a while. What are they like? It depends. I know some people say like pre 75. Some people say pre 80. But yeah, I mean, you got to at least be pre 1980, right?
Yeah, you would think. But the Englehart prospectors, you know, those are vintage. You know, it's kind of stuff to think about, you know, and in another 10, 15 years are these bars that we're getting as just generic, are they going to be considered vintage and be sold as at a premium, you know, as vintage silver?
Right. Okay, so Silverboy Blues. Wow. Okay, are you paying it forward to Space Miner for what he did there? Am I catching that right? That's amazing. Wow. Cool. And so Space Miner says he accepts. Thank you. Am I getting that right, Silverboy? Did you pass that to Space Miner, the Casa de Moneta? Cool. Awesome. That's cool, man. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Indeed.
Well, thank you, Silverboy Blues.
Thanks for paying it forward.
Yeah, thank you, Silverboy Blues, and thank you, Space Miner. That's awesome all around. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Space Miner.
I mean, who knows where I'd have been, you know, if I'd have just kept letting them jab needles into my arm. You know?
Yeah, right. No, yeah, It's a good thing to stack the metals, but it ain't worth your health. That's
Exactly.
probably a good point right there. Okay.
Long live coins. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to say thank you for having us on. I have to go take my son somewhere.
Oh,
But he's going to stay on with you. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you for your support and being on this live with us. And thank you for having us.
well, I am so happy that you came on with him, and I got to talk at least a little bit with you, and hopefully we can do it again, and we'll get a little bit more time with you. But I greatly appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you. Definitely we'll have to do this again. So I hope you have a wonderful night. God bless you and everyone here.
Perfect. Awesome. Yep. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Tell your boy hi, and best of luck.
Bye-bye.
Right. See ya. All right, so we got no bid on the 64 here. It is a nice piece, but we will move along. And okay, now we're into the pure metals. And this one has been a minute. Let's go ahead and put this one up. So now that we're finally at 50, everybody was pretty hesitant on this piece for a while, but it is such a beautiful piece. This is a 2 ounce. It's nice and chunky. And it is a replica piece from the San Francisco Pacific Exposition, San Francisco Panama Pacific Exposition. It is 3/9 fine, pure silver, beautiful owl and pine cone on the back with a representation of Athena from the ancient coins. Well, to be honest, obviously the Athenian tetragram with the owl on the back and Athena on the front, I believe, is where they're getting this from. It's a little bit, it's a modern take on the idea, but it is a very beautiful coin and stamp, and I really like this piece. So, let me put that up. Okay. If I can find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm putting this up, and we're going to leave it at 1 hondo. So this is an amazing deal. I bought this at $100 back when spot was probably under $30 for 2 ounces. So I'm not moving the premium up. So this is a great buy for anybody interested in this coin. And it's actually a round. It's not a coin. Let me make that clear. But it is a very nice coin nonetheless. Comes with a COA. So,
That's a pretty good deal also. I mean, anywhere else you're going to go buy silver at, you're going to pay, a little bit of a premium on that still. So
yeah, this would be I put it up there twice. I couldn't find it. Yeah, no, this would normally, you go buy this on eBay or somewhere else, you're going to have a nice little premium added to it. So
yeah,
I'm just going for my buy cost on it. And I have actually, there's a set. There's one that's an octagon, and then there's the round version, and I have both of those, but I had one extra of each, and one I sold already, and this is the last remaining to sell, so it would be a good deal. OC Stacker, good to see you. Welcome in. How you doing? Heard there was a Texan in here with an AI sidekick.
yeah, you just missed her, OC. She had to go run the boy to get some things.
Silverboy Blues comes in at 100, and with a 3-cell lead, that will put him at, so the next acceptable bid would be 110. Let's see, how would I do that? Let's see, so, yeah, I actually, at 3 cells, it won't be, so that one doesn't affect. You'd have to be to a drone. Let's see. No, if you were a worker comb, then it would put up to. You'd have to bid 110. But since you only have 3 cells, it doesn't affect the over $100 bids. That's what I decided on that. So, Silverboy Blues is a preferred customer with 3 cells. There it is right there. We also have Nickel Stacker and Space Miner on the board. So they have a 3-cell discount. It's 3% on Osmium purchases or a $3 cushion in the auction. So here we have Silverboy Blues at 100, and with a 3-cell cushion that gives him $3 on, so it doesn't really affect this particular bid. So next bid would be 105 for anybody interested. But thank you very much for your bid, Silverboy. Indeed.
That's definitely a nice piece of silver right there. Nice
It is. It's nice and chunky too. I'd take it out of there, but I don't want to get anything on there. So, but yeah, it's one. It feels good in the hand, nice and chunky. I like 2 ounces. They're cool. It's such a beautiful stamp. It's in great condition too. There's like nothing wrong with this thing that I can find. Either side, beautiful example. Comes with a COA, and we are gonna start counting this down. Counting it down makes me hungry for Reese's Cups. That's right, Silverboy. Indeed, that's right. That was you, wasn't it? Okay, so we're coming in 3. Silverboy Blues at 1 hondo. In 2. In 1. Oh my goodness, we're already at 7:20. Wow, time is flying tonight. We usually go for about 2 hours. And I need to switch over to Osmium, and then I got I didn't show my ancient coin. Oh, I didn't say, sorry, hold on. Not no bid. That was a sold. Sold the Silverboy Blues. There we go. Thank you very much, Silverboy Blues. That was a great pickup. It was a great purchase at that price. Great time to buy it. Number 46, Silverboy Blues. Oh, okay, and then I was doing, okay, so I need to highlight my ancient coin for the night. I usually have it highlighted and set up, but I did not get to it tonight. My bad. And for anybody listening, we're going to be having Aaron Burke come in tomorrow at noon Mountain Standard Time. So I would love to see anybody here for that. Bring any ancient coin questions you might have to the chat, and we'll get a chance to ask Aaron Burke, foremost expert on ancient coins. tonight's ancient coin is this Ionia Ephesus 4th century BC AR tetradrachm. The AR in ancient coins stands for silver. And these Greek coins that I like to collect are 98 plus purity. So it's a pure silver tetradrachm at 15.24 grams. About a half ounce of silver, nice little chunky piece, quite beautiful. 2,800 if we wait till the end of the auction coming up here shortly. In about 40 minutes, we will offer it up for 35 with a bit of a discount. So I'll give you a chance to get in at a little bit of a discount. So I give discounts on the ancient coins tonight on this auction. So anytime we're doing an in-person auction, that's where you're going to get your best deals on the ancient coins from me. I put it up at this buy it now price throughout the auction. And then come the end of the auction, I'll put it up at a little reduction. And that will be the best value you will find from me on my ancient coins. And with that, let me put this C. And we will get back to our regularly scheduled program. All right. What do we want next? Let's go with this Antigua and Barbuda Rum Runner. Come on now. What happened to my zoomage? Okay. We have Antigua and Barbuda. This is a rum runner. Got your barrels of rum there. Your pirate got his musket hanging loose. Ship in the background. Got a nice, wipe off the dust there. Got a nice texture for the sky in the background. That's kind of cool. And the waves back there. This is a very pretty coin. Got some high character to it. It is a coin, and it says Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB. It is 1 ounce of 3/9 silver, $2. What do you call that? Nominal price put on there. So it is a coin. And it is a 2023. And we're going to put it up at a beautiful price today. We're going to go, oh, and then also before I put this in, let us also show you the special for the night. Tonight's Buy It Now special is the Walking Liberty round. So this is a replica of the Walking Liberty 50-cent piece. And it comes in at 1 ounce, 3/9 fine silver round at $52. So if anybody would like to buy up to 10 a piece of the Walking Liberty rounds, you can just type Buy It Now special and then how many you would like. And they are $52 a piece. So that is the Buy It Now special for the night. Boy, am I just not getting my camera memory locked in very well tonight. Here we go. Okay, so that is going up for $54 on the Antigua Barbuda Rum Runner. It's another nice price on that right there. Being spot is almost $50. No Jolo tonight here. He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here or not. He was here at the beginning of the ordeal. He doesn't do the auction. He doesn't really hang out at these auctions very much, but he's usually just with the spinning bins. Elle says, yes, he was here. My grandfather liked rum. Oh, yeah? That's cool. I don't even really know really much of the difference between like a rum and a whiskey and I've probably had both, but I'm definitely not a connoisseur. OC has a question. I need to pick a... Let me go look on. I do have that turtle still. OC Stacker. That is the Aegina. The Aegina sea turtle. And it's the second edition of the sea turtle. So the very first, and those ancient coins are some of the very first ancient coins to be minted. The very first sea turtle had a row of dots down the center of its back, and that was the first edition. Just had that one row of like 4 or 5 dots down the middle of its shell. And then later on, before they transitioned to a land-dwelling turtle, after they lost some battles, when they were still a seafaring power, they did those ancient sea turtles was their coin. And the first one they did, and those coins go back to like some of the very first coins ever minted. So they were some of the first silver coins minted. There's some other ones, but they're right back there to the early dates. The 500-600 BC. And fact, and so the coin that I have is the second edition of the sea turtle. If I can get my camera here to do a balloonage, but yeah, it is the second edition of the sea turtle, and it has a row of dots down the back with one on each side at the very neck or the head of the turtle. There's a dot on each side of the row of dots, and that was the second edition. And so this is, and mine is like a 500 to 530, I think, BC. So it's a very old coin, but it's actually a very nice coin. And it's a great deal on that coin for being that nice of a coin. It does have a banker's mark on the back, kind of right where the dots would be, and you can kind of see where a dot was below. So there's some of those dots have been wore down. You can also see the 3 dots at the top, right behind the neck of the turtle. So you can make out that it is the second edition, but it's a very nice example of that ancient sea turtle coin. So the Aegina Stater, very nice ancient coin. And right now we have this Barbuda that is winding down on time.
This is definitely piquing my interest in ancient coins.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's my hope, man. I have fell in love with them. Yeah, and we'll be talking, like I said, with Aaron Burke tomorrow here on the channel. That's always exciting for me. I'm just fascinated with them. the artwork in them is beautiful. The amount of communication those coins give off to me is fascinating. And I think that they did like the Egyptians, right? Like they had a language that was all hieroglyphs or pictures or symbols. And I think the Greeks, although they had obviously the Greek alphabet, they also did so much with their imagery and their art. To me, the Greek art is just, I don't know, it's like we can't match it today. And those coins almost come to life somehow. And I don't know how they managed to capture the art that they did at that point, but it was like the height of art. And now even like our coins now are like so perfect and so, but yet they're still, to me, they're still not as artistic as some of those ancient coins. So I don't know if it's just me or what's going on, but yeah.
Well, I just Googled it real quick, and who were the first people to use silver and gold as money in it, and it was the Egyptians around 3150 BC. So they didn't have, the. I'm sure there's a lot of this stuff that was just hand, hand carved. The coins, the petroglyphs, and the pictures that they did were just kind of etched in there by hand, maybe.
Yes, and biblically speaking, Abraham, the first mention of them using silver as money in the Bible is when Abraham buys a cave in, I think it's the field of Machpelah, but anyway, he buys it from this group of people and he weighs out a certain amount of shekels of silver, and they say that those were just as like some of the other cultures that were already using silver as money, like silver as money. The ancient Phoenicians have writings about silver being used as money, but they say that they were just weighing out like little chunks of silver for payment.
Yeah.
They didn't really get to the coin form until like 650 to 700 BC. Prior to that, they were just weighing out certain amounts of silver and using it as money just by weighing it out. So yeah, that's fascinating. And another cool thing, since you were talking about the Egyptians, that I like to bring up is the fact that they pulled honey out of the Egyptian tombs that was supposedly still edible. The Egyptians had put in, they put in a whole bunch of stuff in their tomb with them, little gods and trinkets and this and that. And one of the things they put in was like this, a little container with honey. And my guess is they understood that, honey can last for thousands of years and still remain edible. And I think it was for when they thought if they came back to life, they would have something there for them to eat.
That could possibly be it. I mean, I wouldn't try any that old.
Yeah, right.
But,
oh, no.
But yeah, it crystallizes. I got a jar of
for sure,
local honey in the cupboard that crystallized, but
yeah, but it's still, I guess it can still be, it's like doesn't go rancid or whatever, I guess.
No.
Okay, we got no bid on the Antigua. Thank you very much for your consideration. We are going to move over because the time is flying tonight. And we're going to move into the Osmium and then an ancient coin, and then we're going to wrap it up because time is flying. Okay, so. Oh, I didn't even have that ready. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, let's go with up first, we will put up a stinger. Okay, so if anybody has not seen you can get yourself a revolver cylinder with 3/9 fine pure silver bullets. These are pure silver. Each bullet is a 1/2 ounce. They're very, very well machined. The cylinder says right here on the back what it is. It is AG47 3/9 fine. The cylinder empty is 3 ounces, and then a 1/2 ounce bullet fully loaded would be 6 1/2 ounces, so 3 more ounces. So fully loaded, it is 6 ounces. And you can buy that product as such, and or you can also replace the bullets with my new product of a Stinger, which is the same 1/2 ounce bullet. They are so very well machined that it's almost like a vacuum pressure, or the reverse from vacuum, but the air, oh man, what would I say? So as you drop the bullet into the cylinder, it's so well machined that the air pressure almost resists it from touching the sides as it sinks in, and it just slowly sinks in. The air pressure adds some resistance so it doesn't just fall in. It kind of slowly has to dissipate into the bottom. I need to work on my language on figuring out how to say that properly, but anyway, hopefully you get the idea. And
wow, it's machined almost perfectly then.
it is. In fact, so you can just turn it over and, empty it out like Suave. Then you can drop these in, and they just shoop, beautifully machined. And so you can buy it as is, just pure silver. It's a beautiful product like that. Let me pull out mine. I will try to be more prepared next time. But yeah, I'll pull out my prototype here. This one is mine. It has a little P stamped into it for prototype. So this one will always be mine. I'm not going to sell this one, but this is, the design of the Stinger right there. I had them machined out so that they can accept a crystallized osmium 3mm disc. And I call these Stingers. So that's going to be this first piece of osmium I throw up here tonight is going to be a 1/2 ounce silver bullet, 3/9 fine, pure silver. And you can, over time, replace your regular silver bullets with Stingers and get yourself eventually a fully loaded silver revolver with osmium inlaid. Or for those of you that haven't seen, I just put out a video on the osmium alpha load where I take a revolver cylinder and I correlate match the revolver cylinder to the bullets, and they all have a matching serial number, and you can purchase them that way, as well as one full product as an X code. That's how I would recommend doing it. However, if you can't do that all at once, you can just buy these Stingers one at a time, and you don't have to buy a cylinder either. You can just buy the bullet with the osmium inlay and have it just as a single piece. But the cylinder makes such a beautiful display piece that I find that hard to resist. So my first piece offered up for the night will be Stinger number 2. So Stinger number 1 has already sold. The next one up is right here, Stinger number 2. And it comes like this. It will come, the stingers will come with the vial that the osmium came in. So that is what you will get right there, the full set. So you can look that up on the Osmium database as well. So let me catch the chat here. That would be like bubble gum, SA 1950 baseball cards. That. So what? How did? So it's a jewelry cement. It's like a jewelry glue, basically. And it's milled so well that it's milled right at the right depth for a sparkle grade 3 osmium diamond cut osmium piece. And so it fits in there very well, very snug, and like you can see, I mean it fits in there so that you can't, come on, zoom. It doesn't stick out. It's like nice and flush with the just inset into the face of the bullet. So they're milled just right for the sparkle grade 3 depth, and so it's just barely inset into the bullet, and that glue will hold it in, and so there should be no worries. And we are gonna drop that in, Stinger number 2. Oh, here we go. And I am working on the Osmium Beta load. Will be the second revolver cylinder fully loaded. So if anybody is interested in that, reach out to me and let me know. We will hook you up. So here we have Stinger number 2. Go. The kind you get at Hobby Lobby. I bought all that. I never proceeded with trying to make the earrings and those rings I was going to. I think I have to have a jeweler help me mill out of space. Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah, that's just kind of the thing is having the mill job, right? Like having a piece that will accept it is kind of the key. Golden Maple, I am doing well. How are you doing, good sir? Yes, Silver Boy Blues, yes.
You know, long live coins. I have to admit, when I first started hearing about osmium, I was fairly skeptical of it, and the more that I see about it, the more that I kind of pay attention to it. I think it's great, but as you know from the story of Mrs. West Texas telling me we should start stacking silver, I'm pretty much skeptical about everything.
It's that's good. I mean, especially, we're taught, sorry, getting a little sidetracked from that, but it's amazing to me that we are taught so little about money in school. Like I had to learn, when I looked into the monetary system, it was like money 101. Like we're taught so very little about money, and without having the knowledge on it, you should be skeptical. I mean, we use our paper dollars to buy everything, right? I mean, any
Yeah.
store you go to, that's what you use. I mean, so why would you want to give it away for something that you can't take to the store and use, readily, like you can the paper money? So, that's not a, you shouldn't feel, bad because you didn't jump right into it. I mean, it's only smart to be skeptical about such things. I mean, there's also, a big push for, like, not baseball and football, but there's the new game out, Pokemon cards, and there's all types of stuff like that out there that people will tell you to invest in. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so, it's good to be skeptical on that, especially when you're dealing with your money and what sustains your family, and you work so hard for it. And so it's good to be skeptical. And that's one of the reasons why I started my channel, and I follow other stacking channels, and is to learn about it and make sure that you're doing the right thing. But once you do kind of figure out about the monetary system and you realize where we are at in the cycle, and what metals are now and what they have been for thousands of years, and how other cultures and countries and empires have used gold and silver throughout the years, and it is the true money that has never lost its value. Every other currency that mankind has come up with, from what are those matching sticks that they used to break apart to keep track of loans and stuff, and
Yeah.
all kinds of different ideas. But gold and silver is the universal overarching value that always has value, and it's traded universally throughout the world. And you definitely want to have it at the end of a fiat cycle. That's when gold and silver really shines. In fact, that's what you see right now that makes me so steadfast in my thought process on it, is the central banks, right? I mean, they're just hand over fist nonstop buying up the gold.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's because they know very well about the monetary system and the fiat dollar, and how much we're printing without anything backing it. So it's good to be skeptical, but once you figure out the timeline that we're in and whatnot, it's you start then you look into these other metals, and, like, me and Space Miner were talking, all of these from osmium, like you just mentioned, which is a new metal to the to the stacking world. I mean, it was just discovered a couple hundred years ago, and it's a platinum byproduct. Platinum is somewhat new to the metal department, so it's new. But a lot of these little new niche unique metals are going to start performing better than they, I think, may ever have, because you're going to have a whole world looking to move out of their fiat into something valuable. And with gold and silver moving the way they are, it's going to make people go through the rest of the metals with a fine-tooth comb. And with technology booming as it is, and some of the unique characteristics of these unique metals, I think it's going to bring value to these metals that will blow your mind when it's all said and done. So yeah, I think it's actually good that we're skeptical and are skeptical, but I think over time, like you're saying, they'll prove themselves out. So
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure platinum. I'm sure when they first came out with platinum like that people were probably thinking the same thing. Like, what's this? Why silver and gold is, and silver and gold is where it's at, and eventually people warmed up to it, and I think that's what's going to happen with the osmium. Um, you know, I was watching Sal quite a few months ago doing a live, and he actually had the what was it, a cube of the just raw osmium.
Oh yeah, the centered
Yeah.
cube. Yep.
Yeah. And I thought, well, that's interesting that Sal would have that, you know. And I'm looking closer into it. You know, the first time I saw it, the sparkle of it just was beautiful. It kind of looked like looking up at the stars, you know, on a pitch black night. You know,
Right. Yeah, we actually use that term. We call them constellations. They all have a unique constellation that no other piece has, and that's part. It has its own built-in safety code into the crystallization process, just like every snowflake is unique. They say, right, because of how it
yeah.
crystallizes. It's the same thing with this. And so, yeah, we use that term often. Look at that constellation. No matter how you turn it, a new constellation pops out at you. It's like, wow, that's cool.
And I think they're probably going to come up with some kind of a use for it. You know, like, I mean, once people actually get a hold of it and they start seeing what they can utilize it for, it's going to go big.
Yeah, they've already found some uses for it, and yeah, one of the big uses that I am keeping my eye on that I think they might use it for is quantum computing, because it has a I can't think of the term right now, but it's like no resistance to the transfer of electricity through it at a low temperature. It's I can't, Space Miner, if you're here, put in the term that I'm looking for. But anyway, it superconductor. It's a superconductor at a low temperature. So like right now with supercomputing, they have to like put it into their computer into like a freezer, and it operates at like negative 30 degrees, or I don't know what it is, but you have to get it really cold for it to function well. And that's one of the things they're looking at osmium at, is how much electricity can flow through there at just like a regular room temperature, instead of having to reduce everything to really cold. It's a superconductor at like normal temperatures, and that's one of the great things about it, right, is it's got about the highest melting point of the metals. It's the most dense metal. It has a list of the most that I keep saying I need to write down, but it's just like when I get to talking about it, there's so many things that it ticks the box of being the most. Like, it's a superconductor, it's the most dense, it's the most abrasion resistant, it's it's neck and neck with the hardness of diamonds, and it's just, yeah, it really is an amazing product, and we're just now looking into it for some of those other possibilities that it might be a perfect fit for. So it's already, they use it as an alloy. They had these ship bearings that kept wearing out and wearing out and wearing out, and it was causing them so much money because they'd have to bring the ship in and redo these bearings constantly. And so they tried, well, it was such a high value to do that they said, well, let's try some osmium as an alloy in there. Supposedly they haven't had to change the bearing since. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it's just coming into its own, and I'm, let alone it already has this high value in and of itself, just in investment value / jewelry / like, it's already very valuable without any of these uses. And so when some of these uses start to come into play, whoo, my goodness.
Yeah, even in the jewelry aspect of it is, people are kind of getting tired of well, some people are kind of getting tired of diamonds. The vault here in Odessa, that's the coin shop. It's a jewelry place too, and Rolex watches. But when people go into, say come on hard times, or they're going through a divorce and they go to take their wedding ring in that they bought at Kay's jeweler, or
Yep.
the big one, right?
Right.
They ask him, well, how much is it worth? And he's like, I can give you, I don't really need any diamonds right now, but I can give you what the weight in gold cost,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
people are just, people are going to start realizing that diamonds, unless it's a real rare, unique diamond, they don't really hold hardly any value to them.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Exactly. Diamonds are kind of on their way out a little bit.
Yeah.
And now, of course, we know that they're making them in the lab, and they're made out of carbon, which is like the most abundant element, one of the most abundant elements that we have. Whereas osmium, which you can make better, now I can't think of the jewelry terminology, but you can do a better osmium inlaid piece of jewelry that has way more sparkle points, way more return reflection points that are pure reflection. It's not a refraction like a diamond is. So it makes the jewelry look that much brighter, that much stronger, and you can cut it into points and make little designs that you couldn't do with a diamond. And it would take a parve is what they call them, I guess. And you put all these little, you have to glue like hundreds and hundreds of little diamonds to make this pattern out, where you can just take a piece of crystalline osmium and cut it to whatever parve pattern you want and get a better finished product look. And it is from the rarest stable element known to man. So it's not overabundant like one of the most abundant, like carbon. You could make a never-ending amount of diamonds from that. Well, you had osmium is like the exact opposite. Not only do you get, better looking cuts and more reflection points, it is the rarest element known to man, and the hardest and the most, again, it kind of boggles my mind how cool it is. So yeah, I agree. I think it will do very well, and we are right at the beginning of it as a product. It's only been a product for like 12 going on 13 years now. It's only been in the States. This is going on the third year. We're going to be at the New Orleans Investment Conference here in a couple weeks, and it'll be the third year we've been there. And so it's just came to the US, these past 3 years. So we are literally the beginning of the market right now. And a new product like that, you're lucky to get in at the very beginning, right? And that's where we're at. And so I do think it's a lucky timing, and a kind of like your bloodletting thing where the timing was just so, intricate. I feel the same way about osmium. Like, wow, to be at the very forefront of it coming out as a product is pretty cool, I think. So Silverboy Blues, thank you very much. Stinger number 2 is yours. A great product there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I am going.
So how durable is osmium?
Well, it's one of the most durable metals there is as far as hardness. Abrasion resistant. There's nothing that compares to it. Where its weak point is, and I've been asking this for a long time to anybody I'm talking to, like the people who know more about it or have been studying it longer than me. I'm always trying to get to like, well, where's its weak point? They tell me about all its strong points, and I'm always trying to find, well, where's it? There's got to be a weak point somewhere. And finally, I was talking to Space Miner, and it was through discussing metallurgic terms when I finally found its weak point. And it's because of its unique, great aspects that it also has its weak point. It's because of it's so hard that there's no bend to it. You know how most metals, like you can take silver and bend it all different directions and it's fine, doesn't fall apart. It's very malleable. Osmium has like no malleability. That's its weak point. You cannot bend it. Like, it is so hard. It's the most compact thing that there is. It's like the hardest thing that there is about. And so that in turn makes it not bendable at all. And so that would be its weak point, as far as you can't take a piece and bend it. That would be its weak point. But what was the original question you asked me? Sorry, I got sidetracked.
No, just how durable it was.
Yeah.
Bob misses a diamond ring with some opal on the side and in the band, and she must have smacked it on something, and it chipped all the opal out.
Oh, wow.
So we've been, and opal's one of those things that for a jeweler, it's really hard to work with because you can't really heat it up. You can't really heat up opal to set it in jewelry very good. It just doesn't take heat too well. So I was wondering about how the durability of osmium, if you could get that and put it, inlay it in some bands, like a gold band or a platinum band.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And that Silver Boy was mentioning that earlier. It makes a great inlay, like into this silver. I actually made a little necklace pendant for my wife that I might be able to pull out later and show. But that's really the key to it, is having a background, having a solid compartment that it fits into well. And if you can get a solid compartment or background or slot that it fits in, that's not going to bend itself, it'll last longer than generations and generations. Like, it will be one of the last things existing. It just keep in mind that you don't want it to be in a pliable situation where something is bending back and forth and bending back and forth. That you wouldn't want. But if you have a solid background and it fits into it well, forget about it, man. It's gonna last forever. So it'll be the last thing standing. It takes the highest melting point. It's the highest abrasion resistance. So, like, what they have on their website is a nail file. They show a nail file, except it's made out of osmium, and they show it like for use to like file down diamonds. So it's like, that's their example for abrasion resistance. It's as a nail file. Like, its abrasion resistance is like the highest known abrasion resistance there is. So the key, like I was saying, really it's indestructible except for its brittleness. You don't want to bend it, or like, how glass is really, really hard, and how, like, glass is very strong. It's just that you don't want to shatter it. Like, it's brittle in a way because it's so hard, and it's kind of like that with osmium. You don't want to put it in a place where you're gonna, like with a window, you're gonna take it, and all of a sudden, if you put enough pressure on it, I got a back mic, I can't see nothing with my, or here you go. If you take a window a plane of glass, and you really bend it, nothing's gonna happen, and then suddenly it's gonna shatter, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with, osmium wouldn't necessarily shatter, but at some point it's gonna split, it's gonna crack open, because it's so, like Space Miner was saying, that the particles are so fit tightly together that it would take so much pressure until finally, pow, it lets go. And that's kind of the only thing that you would need to worry about with this type of product. Okay, so I'm running late here. I'm going to put one piece of osmium nectar up here, and then we'll move on to the ancient, and we will call it a night. Sorry about the time, guys. Having fun chatting with Mr. and Mrs. West Texas here. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to look up this piece. I'm going to pull up Osmium identification code and share my screen. Let's get rid of this piece. Remove from studio. Remove from studio. Add share screen. Osmium identification share. Okay, so when you come over here to the Osmium identification page, you guys see that? Okay. It has this little box here, and that's where you put in the OIC, which is this little code down here at the bottom. You can also just take your phone and scan this box, and it'll pull up the same website and pull up your exact piece and give you all the dimensions. But I'm going to type in this code just to give you guys an idea how you can do it manually. So A-NN-HR-9HAR, enter, and that will pull up this exact piece. Okay, so let me make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, so this is the piece that we're looking at right here, and you can see these pictures of the hexagon. Same dimensions here. You can, like, say, click on this last picture here, which is a heat. Can't think of what you call it, but it's a heat produced picture, and it pulls out the high and low points. So the reds are the high points, the greens are the low points, and this is your unique fingerprint. And so you can tell your piece just by getting taking a good picture, zooming in close onto your piece of osmium, and you will see all the little same high points and low points. And so you just find, like, you take a look at your picture here and you say, okay, I got 2 high points over here on the right and one right after the corner on the left. And then you zoom into your piece and you match that up with your piece, and you can match it just by eye. So that's one way of doing that. So, but anyway, once you're here, it lists you all of your dimensions that you might be interested in. So product is a small hexagon. Its weight is 0.215 grams. And the other day, West, you were in the chat and you asked how much is osmium, crystallized osmium, by the ounce, and I listed you the gram price instead of the ounce price, like an idiot. But
yeah, I looked that up. By the ounce is a lot.
yeah, it's like 50 grand, not what I said, but yeah, it's weighed by the gram. And it's $2,400 a gram, basically, right now, roughly. But this is 0.215 grams. So a quarter of a gram, not quite a quarter of a gram. Main dimensions 5.75 millimeters by 5 millimeters. Average thickness 0.19 millimeters. Sparkle grade 2. And you can obviously get between a sparkle grade 1 and 5. Your low is a sparkle grade 1, your high is a sparkle grade 5, and that's simply the amount of growth height on the piece of crystallized osmium. So the longer you let it crystallize, the taller the crystal gets, the larger the crystal gets. So the longer you let it grow, the larger the sparkle grade, and sparkle grade 5 is about the biggest they let them get. So those are your different options. This comes in at a sparkle grade 2. I ordered a sparkle grade 3, so this is a heavy sparkle grade 2. And, it's on a scale. So they make it into a big disc, and the big disc that they cut this out of was probably a sparkle grade 3. However, there might have been one side that was just a little below a sparkle grade 3, and it's a heavy sparkle grade 2. So that's how I ended up with the sparkle grade 2 when I ordered sparkle grade 3. But it's actually very close, and it's a gradient scale, obviously. So, and with that, we have 452 euros. I'm going to put that to dollars and see what we come up with. And that comes up to $524, $525 we'll call that. Let's share this tab instead. So we've got 452 euros, brings us out to 524.14. I'm going to call that 525. So we're going to throw this piece in. And we're going to pop this into the old auction chat here. And sorry about the chat. I have not been watching very closely. If you have something that I have not seen, just put it in the chat again and highlight it and holler at me, and I'll go read it. Not meaning to ignore you. I've just got too many things going on. So let's put in this info. And we are... Okay. Sparkle 2.215 grams at 520. No, what did I say? 525? 525. Okay. We're dropping that in. Hexagon. Let me put it in hexagon.
Boy, they put a lot of thought and effort into this their website, and with the tracking numbers and the scan, the scan codes, for the piece you're showing there.
For sure. In fact, since you bring that up, they even went the extra mile, and that code that I put in, it's called the OIC code, which stands for Osmium Identification Code. That OIC goes into their database. When they take the pictures of it, they put it in their database, and when they enter it into their database, it actually gets sent to all the servers of the countries that are involved with osmium. So like the USA, and that goes to the customs. And so when I order a piece from the Osmium Institute, it goes through customs, and they enter in the OIC, and they're like, okay, it pulls up as crystalline osmium and gives them all the information they want. And it's actually a code for customs.
Nice.
And so, yeah, so I can send this over to a Japanese, fellow Osmium Institute partner like I am. I could send it to one of my partners in Japan, and Japan will receive it in their customs, and it'll come up and pull up, and they've already went through all of the documentation on, hazardous materials and whatnot. And so every country that works with it is aware of it from the OIC codes, and they all understand what it is from those codes. So yeah, they went ahead, they put all the foresight and thinking through it before they started. They brought it to the market and put it on the market so that even customs, even the country's customs would be able to just look it up and know what it is off the top of their head and not have to deal with all the material safety data sheet and all that stuff. So
Well,
yeah.
that seems like it would be a great counter to fakes, to counter fakes.
Oh, it is.
You know,
And this,
if it goes through customs and they enter the number and it doesn't pop up, then that's just the red flag right there.
Yep. Yeah, and this is about the most unfakeable, unforgeable material probably in the metals groups, because it is the densest, again, and another one of those check marks that it fills the box in. It is the densest material known to man, and so naturally occurring, it is the most dense material known to man. So you can't put anything into it to fill it. Like, how sometimes they talk about putting like tungsten and gold or something. They fill the metal of a gold bar. Well, you can't do that to osmium. There's nothing that is dense enough to do that. Nor is there anything that could get the crystalline structure or reflectivity of the metal with the natural blue hue that it has. So it's like it's unforgeable, and it's it's another one of those cool things about it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you could get graded coins from PCGS and they're faking everything about those, the labels and all that. So,
yep.
I mean, it's a extra, like just a extra security feature on it.
It is an extra security feature, and what's cool about it is when you buy the piece, you get a code sent. Like, let's just use this piece. So I have the OC. I own this piece right now, so I have the OCC code that no one else in the universe has. And so if someone tried to steal this and resell it, they couldn't, because you can't buy and sell it without the OCC code. And so, if you bought this from me, I would, put in your name and whatnot, your email. That's what I need to sell it to someone, is I need their name and their email address. And so I would put in the email address and the name, and then I would say, it'll give me the option. I'll pull up the page and whatnot, and it gives me the option of transfer ownership. And once I have your email in there and your name, I can just click transfer ownership. My code gets erased when I do that. And then the code, you would receive a code, but it wouldn't come from me. It comes directly from the Osmium Institute. So I have nothing to do with that code once I sell it.
Nice.
And you would receive a code into your email that comes directly from the Osmium Institute server, and I would have no clue what that code is, see? So you would be the only one in the universe with that code, and then no one can buy it or sell it aside from you. So there's several layers of protection with this stuff. It's kind of cool. Stuart, welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, Silverboy Blues Space Miner, I think, nailed it right there. It's about $2,439 a gram. And if anybody wants to know how you find that out, you just type in osmium price. And Bingo. Let me pull this up for you guys. Share. Go US dollars and then go to all. So that is the price chart right there from day one, which was in right about when I started stacking metals. A little before I started stacking in 2017 is when this stuff came into the market. So again, there's that timing thing. That's kind of cool. So 2017 is when they first opened up this market, and it was at $567 on that top line there. That's the crystalline osmium. $567 in 2017. And it comes over and over and over. I got into it right there at that peak at 1656. And then it fell down a little bit, which is also normal whenever I get into something that falls a little bit. And then it jumped up again to 2,444.
Wow.
So there's its price chart so far.
So, and it's a fairly regulated market, huh?
Well, that's the other cool thing about it. So it's monopoly owned, meaning just this one guy owns it. Basically, it's his company. And the chemist, they founded this thing together, and they went through all those steps we were just talking about, and then brought it to the market. It is now, there's an osmium, they call it the Osmium World Council, and they meet together, and well, they have several meetings, one big one a year, but then a certain group of them get together. I don't know if it's monthly or weekly or what, and they chart the price of it, and it's simply a free market price thing. I mean, they're setting the price, but obviously it's what stuff is selling for. So it is not on like a stock market where it can be manipulated. It is simply buy and selling product, and how much is left and how much is moving and at what price. And so from those different things, they set the price. So yeah, it can't be manipulated like on the stock market when somebody wants to just manipulate it down suddenly or something. Stack.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome in.
Gee, what's up, man? Yeah, that's wow. So that keeps its value. It goes up and it just holds it.
Yep. As long as people keep buying it, it'll just keep going up. If it all stops selling, then it'll start going down. So they can hopefully sell more, bring it back up. But yeah, it's just a supply and demand thing at this point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Silverboy Blues. It's just osmium price, and this is what the website will look like. There's a couple different, you might have to look through a couple different sites, but yeah, this is osmium price. And another way to get to it is by spelling it the kind of German way, which is osmium, same way here, OSMIUM, and then price is PREIS, I think, or IES, and that will pull it up as well. Let me see if I can find out the German spelling for it.
Yeah, that's funny. The first time I saw a Geiger bar, I was like, "Is this thing fake? It's spelled silver wrong."
Right. Yeah. So if you type in Silverboy Blues osmium and then price spelled PREIS, and that will pull it up. That's the German spelling of it, or whatever, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna count this baby down. What's going on? Stack that gold. Silver, indeed. All right, did I get any bids by chance? Yeah, I remember it was 1,400 and 1,600. Now it's 2,400. Okay, we're going to count this baby down in 3, in 2, in 1. All right. Thank you for your consideration. We are moving on, last but not least, to the ancient coin of the night. Let me stop sharing that. And pull up my channel. Shorts. Jaw. Right. Hi everybody, today I would like to show you this Ionia Ephesus 4th century BC silver tetradrachm weighing 15.24 grams. On the obverse here we have a B, and on the left here we have the Greek letter epsilon or E, and on the right we have the Greek letter phi or F. And on the reverse of this coin, we have a stag and a date palm tree, and the word orassuloi, however you pronounce that, forgive me. And these represent the Greek goddess Artemis, also known to the Romans as Diana, mentioned in the Bible in Ephesians. Hi everybody, today I would like to show you this Ionia Ephesus 4th century BC silver tetradrachm weighing 15.24 grams. On the obverse here we have a B, and on the left here we have the Greek letter epsilon. Okay, so that is the ancient coin we are offering up here tonight. Space Miner says to you west, I believe this is one he was looking for. It's a companion metal. If platinum, most companion metals don't drop too much relative to their host metal. The host metal usually takes the hit, not the companion metal. Is that the one you were wanting me to read, Space Miner? And that was the one. Okay, so stop sharing. Let me. Hey, OC, are you gone? Are you still here, OC, or are you not here anymore?
That's all right.
Let's put it up.
Yeah,
Let's put it in at. Okay, so I'm going to drop this in the chat. This is obviously this ancient coin that we just looked at. And I'm putting it in at a largely discounted price. And we're going to go ahead and set this 3-minute timer. Ooh, where are we at? There she goes. Time is, the hourglass of time is passing by. We got about 3 minutes to put a bid in on that ancient Ephesus B if anybody wants it. Good letter written from Apostle Paul to the Christian folks in that city back in the day. Indeed. And in fact, I talk about the bee as a representation of the goddess Diana in the biblical Ephesians book of Ephesians in the Bible. It talks in there about the silver artisans making, their living by making silver artifacts from Diana, the great goddess Diana. And the Greeks called that same god Artemis. So this is a modern coin of, it's got the stag like on the back of the bee. It's as the stag and the date palm. Well, here you have a stag and she has her bow and arrow. That's Artemis. That's kind of the same as Diana. She usually has a bow and arrow. But the bee was a kind of a representation of the goddess Diana. And yeah, in the book of Ephesians, it talks about the silversmiths making their living off of making all types of silver, trinkets and whatnot. And he really gets after Paul about taking their living away. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. The god of war? Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I don't know that. I'd have to do more studying on it to be sure about that. I know she was kind of looked at as the goddess of nature and nurturing and childbirth, and that's kind of where the date palm and the stag and the honeybee all represent that nature's nurturing life and whatnot. And I think but she also has that bow and arrow, so I'm sure there's some mixture there. But I'm not very good with my Greek gods. I'm just kind of learning about that now as we go. So you're probably right. Stack that gold. I don't know. Indeed. Okay, we're winding down on the time. We're gonna give it this little bit of time left. Boy, it's hard to get that in the screen with the delay. And we're going to count it down, and we're going to call it a night. I'm sorry I ran long, West Texas, but I greatly appreciate you hanging out with me and keeping me company.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
It was a good night. I didn't get through as much as I wanted to, but it was good. I greatly appreciate the talk I had with you. And, man, I didn't even get through all my... Let me see if I can come up with a few more questions here. I'm sure I have. What do you watch most for price change? But since you already mentioned silver was your metal, I'm sure that's probably the case there as well. Do you watch the gold to silver ratio very much?
I really don't. Not the. I was told again by Chris there, the owner of the vault. He says, yeah, I did ask him about it once, and he said, do yourself a favor, save your silver, save the money, and buy the gold. That way you have both.
Yep. That's the way to do it. I was interviewing Ian from ARK not long ago. It was about at the last gold to silver ratio peak, where it was like 105 silver to 1 gold ratio. And I asked him, would you advise selling your gold to get into silver? I said, I wouldn't do it because I'm on the small end and I just buy more silver, but I said, would you make that type of an, advisement? He said, yes. And I was like, wow, really? You would say yes to that? And I said, yeah, I think it's a good idea to exchange some of your gold for silver. And since then it went from 105 to now it's at about 80.
Yeah.
So he's already made about 25 ounces of silver there, so that was a good call. But yeah, no, I think that was good advice that you got, and I think silver is going to continue to outperform, but I've always kind of just tried to look at it in the sense that if you have a lot of money, I can see you going into gold, because that's that safety net. And if you already have a lot of money, you don't need to make a bunch of money. So just preserving your wealth is kind of the key there. So I can see gold being very strong in that sense. However, since I'm at the bottom of the pile, I need that excess gain, and I see silver as having the most asymmetrical upside, the asymmetrical bet. So, yeah, I like it for safety over the fiat, but also gains in purchasing power as well. So, indeed. All right, so we are going to.
Here's just real quick. Here's a little bit of since we're talking about ancient coins, and I was looking at this pan bar with Lady Fortuna on it.
Fortuna, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny that I'm just looking at this because last night I was watching something about the Roman Empire, and there was actually an issue with their plumbing and all the methane gas that would build up, and it would, explode, literally like taking people out while they're sitting on using the facilities. And they would have portraits or drawings of Lady Fortuna, and next to all their toilets, because she's the goddess of fortune and luck. So yeah,
Wow.
that was just a little bit of Roman history.
Yeah, I love listening to that history and stuff. And mentioning Lady Fortuna, how oftentimes Lady Fortuna has under her arm, she has the or coming out of her hairdo, the cornucopia.
Cornucopia, yeah.
And that's, it's been used throughout time. It's on the ancient Greek coins all the way up to they're still using it today. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got some stuff to put away and got to get ready for bed.
Yeah, awesome, man. That was it. We are done with the ancients. We are done with the auction, and thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us. This was a fun one. Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker made it a very fun auction tonight. So tell the missus thank you very much again for me, Mister. And again, I greatly appreciate you, and hopefully maybe we can do this again sometime down the road.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Sorry if you had to wait on me. The time difference, and then
No worries
get off
whatsoever.
work.
Not at all. It was very much worth it, and it didn't make a difference for me. So great.
Oh.
Great time. Yeah, I greatly appreciate you, and we'll do it again. And everybody out there in chat, thank you so much, and we will catch you all on the next one. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody.